What happens when a dying car company bets everything on one last radical idea? In 1963, Studebaker unleashed a car unlike anything America had ever seen. Sleek, futuristic, and fast enough to challenge the mighty Corvette. But behind its bold design and blazing speed was a race against time. This is the story of the Avanti, the car that tried to save a company and dared to beat a legend. The American sports car race in the 1960s were a golden era for American performance. The post-war boom had kicked the auto industry into high gear, and the race was on to define the true American sports car. Chevrolet had just launched the stunning 1963 Corvette Stingray, sleek, aggressive, and loaded with power. Ford was cooking up the Mustang. Dodge had muscle. Pontiac had swagger. But in this fierce competition, it wasn't just the giants who had something to prove. Studebaker, a smaller, struggling brand, looked at the Corvette and said, "We can do better." What followed was one of the boldest moves in automotive history. The sports car war wasn't just about speed. It was about identity, innovation, and the fight for survival in a fast-changing America. And into that arena roared the 1963 Studebaker Avanti Studebaker. The underdog Studebaker wasn't just another car company, it was one of the oldest vehicle manufacturers in America, dating back to the 1850s when they built wagons for pioneers. But by the early 1960s, Studebaker was in serious trouble. Sales were falling, profits were vanishing, and the company was losing relevance in a rapidly evolving auto market. While Detroit's Big Three battled for dominance, Studebaker was fighting for survival. But instead of playing it safe, they took a risk. A big one. Studebaker's new president, Sherwood Egbert, had a radical idea. Build a futuristic, high-performance car that would shock the industry, and maybe even save the company. This was no minor facelift or safe sedan. This was a full-throttle leap into the unknown. That vision would become the Avanti, a last-ditch gamble by the underdog of American automotive history. The birth of the Avanti, a radical dream. In 1961, Studebaker's new president, Sherwood Egbert, sketched the silhouette of a sleek coupe on a plain napkin. That doodle would ignite one of the most ambitious design projects in automotive history. With the company on the brink, Egbert challenged legendary industrial designer Raymond Loewy to build something bold, something that didn't just compete with the Corvette, but surpassed it. Loewy's team had just 40 days to create a working prototype. The result? A wild, space-age machine with no grille, a low-slung fiberglass body, and curves that looked like they came from the future. It was unlike anything America had seen, part jet fighter, part sculpture, and all attitude. The Avanti wasn't just a car, it was a statement. Studebaker wasn't going down quietly. They were swinging for the fences, designing a dream that just might rewrite their fate. Performance. That surprised everyone. The Avanti wasn't just about looks. It had the muscle to back it up. Under the hood sat a 289 cubic inch V8, and when paired with a Paxton supercharger in the R2 and R3 versions, it cranked out up to 335 horsepower. That kind of power was serious in 1963. Enough to propel the Avanti past 170 miles per hour at the Bonneville Salt Flats. But it wasn't just speed. The Avanti came packed with cutting-edge technology. It was the first American production car with front disc brakes, a major leap in safety. The chassis was stiff, the handling tight, and the cockpit was aviation-inspired, putting controls right at the driver's fingertips. While the Corvette refined its image, the Avanti redefined what a sports car could be. It was raw, radical, and remarkably ahead of its time. Marketing hype versus production reality. Studebaker went all in on marketing the Avanti, branding it as America's only four-passenger high-performance personal car. That tagline wasn't just catchy, it was bold. It positioned the Avanti not just as a sports car, but as something more refined, more practical, and just as thrilling as a Corvette. And the media loved it. The Avanti graced the cover of Life magazine, stunned crowds at auto shows, and drew headlines across the country. Its futuristic design, combined with record-breaking performance at Bonneville, created an aura of excitement and prestige. Early customers were eager. Dealers took pre-orders before production even started. The hype was real. But behind the curtains, trouble was brewing. The fiberglass body was difficult to mass produce, parts supply was inconsistent, and delays piled up. The dream was alive in the marketing, but reality? That was a much tougher road. The downfall, what went wrong? For all its innovation and ambition, the Avanti couldn't escape the harsh reality of Studebaker's decline. One of the biggest issues? Production delays. The radical fiberglass body, while stylish, was difficult to manufacture. Studebaker had never worked with fiberglass on this scale, and the process caused bottlenecks, delays, and quality control nightmares. Dealers couldn't get cars on time. Customers grew impatient, and without volume, the buzz faded quickly. Worse yet, Studebaker's financial condition was deteriorating fast. Just months after the Avanti's release, the company shut down U.S. production entirely in December 1963. Only about 4,600 Avantis were ever made Avanti's second life. Most cars die when their company does, but not the Avanti. After Studebaker shut its doors, two former dealers, Nate Altman and Leo Newman, refused to let the dream fade. In 1965, they bought the rights, tooling, and even the original South Bend factory. Their mission? Bring the Avanti back. And they did, this time as the Avanti II. It looked nearly identical, but now ran with a reliable Chevrolet Corvette engine under the hood. Over the decades, the car passed through multiple owners, each putting their spin on the design while staying true to Loewe's original vision. The Avanti lived on through the 70s, 80s, and even into the early 2000s, an incredible run for a car born from a company that no longer existed. More than just a revival, the Avanti's second life became a symbol of timeless design and sheer determination. Legacy. Why the Avanti still matters. The Avanti may not have dethroned the Corvette, but it carved out a legacy all its own. It was decades ahead of its time in styling, safety, and innovation. Its bold, grille-less design influenced future generations of cars, while features like front disc brakes became industry standards. Today, the Avanti is a cult classic, celebrated by collectors, designers, and gearheads who admire its ambition. It represents more than just a unique sports car. It's a symbol of American creativity, risk-taking, and the belief that even underdogs can leave a mark. While the Corvette became a legend of power, the Avanti became a legend of vision, proof that great ideas can outlive the companies that birthed them. In the story of American automotive history, the Avanti is the rebel that dared to dream differently, and that's why it still matters. Corvette versus Avanti. Who really won? At first glance, it's easy to say the Corvette won. It's still around today, an American icon with decades of legacy. The Avanti? It faded away, along with Studebaker itself. But numbers don't tell the whole story. Because when it comes to innovation, the 1963 Avanti was ahead of its time. From its bold, grille-less fiberglass design to the supercharged engine and cutting-edge safety features, the Avanti pushed the boundaries of what a performance car could be. It even pioneered a new segment, the personal luxury performance coupe, blending speed with sophistication in a way no American car had done before. So yes, the Corvette survived, but the Avanti left its mark. It may not have won the sales war, but it earned something deeper: respect, admiration, and a permanent place in automotive history. If you enjoyed this story of innovation and rebellion on four wheels, give us a like and hit that subscribe button. What do you think? Was the Avanti ahead of its time, or just a beautiful misfire? Let us know in the comments. And if you love underdog stories, classic car battles, and forgotten legends of the road, don't miss our next episode. This is the story of the car that tried to beat the Corvette in many ways. Thanks for watching.